Hello, my name is Chris Neely and I'm the Director of Sales Engineering here at Noetic Cyber. I think we're all aware of the critical role that the endpoint plays in our attack surface. And a survey back in 2020 identified that the majority of internet-connected systems were being attacked on average 1.5 times every minute. Rogue endpoints continue to plague organisations. And a recent survey identified that 71% of IT leaders admitted to finding unknown systems on their network every single week. Now, if you want to start building cyber asset visibility, one of the highest fidelity data sources you can actually have is from your EDR estate. However, coverage gaps will always remain. So it's important to build that visibility, identify those systems previously unknown or unprotected, and cover them. So let's look at how Noetic's cyber asset management and controls platform can help organizations fix those coverage gaps. So in order to start gaining visibility of our estate, the first thing we're going to want to do is start ingesting those siloed data sets. And most organizations start with their cloud infrastructure, vulnerability management, a CMDB for business context, maybe a network scanner, but they always include their EDR estate because it's typically one of the highest fidelity data sets you can have. Now, when we're ingesting data within Noetic, we're using the Noetic connectors. These are agentless and are typically being designed to be bidirectional, not only for ingestion, but also to enable us to take action and remediation. And the connectors understand the underlying technology they're ingesting. And we've extended the data types of the platform to support the different components within the technology. In this case, for Sentinel-1, we have the Sentinel-1 agent, the Sentinel-1 group, and the location. So this enables us to query based on those types. Each connector will ship with a number of queries. In this case, the ability not only to query our Sentinel-1 estate, but also, more importantly, to look for those systems that are currently unprotected by Sentinel-1 in coverage gaps. We also ship with workflows that enable us not only to take in, data and ingest it, but also, as I said before, they're bidirectional and will enable us to take actions as well. And all the different capabilities of the underlying technology are provided within the functions. So this enables you to build quite complex workflows, leveraging the functions from different connectors. So maybe we're ingesting information from multiple connectors, and then we're using other connectors for actions and remediations. So let's start querying the platform and looking at the Sentinel-1 information. So the first query I've run here is looking at Sentinel-1 agents. Now, obviously, this is information that's been brought in directly from Sentinel-1, but I have all the same information. I have information about them systems, the agent type, the last active date, when the last virus definitions were updated, so I can query the same information as Sentinel-1. And we can actually look at an individual machine here and look at the different data sets that have been brought in. So we can see general information about the system. We can see that this is an Active Directory machine because that data set has reported this system. ServiceNow has seen this system. It's being managed by Microsoft SCCM, and also obviously Sentinel-1 because that was part of the query. And I can query any of the information in any of these data sets. But you'll see that obviously different data sets have been aggregated and correlated to one system. And then we can query across these data sets. And we can even see this machine in our graph database. We can see the machine, IP address, MAC address. It's part of a site. It's got a user, and it's obviously being managed by Microsoft SCCM. And that's all very interesting, and we can build more queries to query things that are more interesting, like maybe those machines that haven't checked in within the last 3 weeks, or those that have got old antivirus definitions, or those machines where there's a problem with the agent. In my environment, I'm actually running multiple sites and I'm actually running multiple technologies. So think of an organization that's gone through mergers and acquisitions as an example, and maybe they've adopted another company with different technology. So here I'm actually looking at Cisco AMP computers, and I can actually see all the Cisco AMP computers on a different network. In actual fact, this particular machine here is reporting some user activity. So once again, we can query all of that wealth of information from, in this case, Cisco AMP And if I want to, I can actually query just all machines. So this is leveraging more of our Noetic lens and our abstraction layer, where I'm actually saying, just tell me about any machine that's been reported with EDR. I don't care about the underlying technology. And that's the benefit of having our Noetic lens and our abstraction layer, is you don't have to operate at the micro level. You can operate at macro level. So take vulnerability management as an example. Instead of being specific about the underlying technologies, I can just say, show me all machines with vulnerabilities, regardless of whether it was Rapid7, Tenable, or another technology that reported those vulnerabilities. And it's the same with EDR. I don't care about the underlying technology. I only care that those systems have EDR. And we can see here the SentinelOne systems and obviously the Cisco AMP systems. And once again, I can query that information. But it's what I actually care about is those machines that aren't protected by EDR. And once again, it's a generic high-level, macro-level query at the abstraction layer that's saying, just tell me about any machine you know of that doesn't have EDR. And so here, let's click on one of the machines. I can see this machine is a server. It's actually been reported by ServiceNow, and it's been reported by a network scanner, Rumble, but you'll notice there's no other data sources. So we know categorically that this isn't being covered by our EDR estate, and that this machine is part of a coverage gap that we need to address. So let's look at how we go about doing that. So now we've defined an internal policy in that any machine must have an EDR agent installed. We can save that within the platform as a control policy and set actions. So we can save the query and we can specify the actions we want to take. Now, it may be something as simple as creating a ticket in our service desk and getting the most appropriate teams to deal with that, or we may want to leverage existing technology like Microsoft SCCM or Ansible to actually go off and target that machine and install the agent. But more importantly, we want to be able to schedule that to run periodically, so we're finding once and we're fixing continuously. Let's have a quick look at our workflow. So our workflow leverages business process management notation. And let me show you one of our workflows here. This particular workflow is designed to install the EDR agent. Now remember, I've got two different sites in my demo environment here. I'm running SentinelOne and I'm running Cisco AMP. So I need to be aware of that. So my workflow uses Microsoft SCCM to determine the location of the asset. And then based on the UK, we'll either install SentinelOne, or if it's in the US site, it'll install Cisco AMP. But if you look at our workflow, we have full conditional logic, and we can leverage all the functions that ship with all the different connectors I talked about at the beginning of the video. We can also call any workflow, once again, those that ship automatically with our connectors or those that you've built yourself. So maybe you choose to build workflows that are specific to a particular situation, a technology, or a location, and you can call those all from within other workflows. So very powerful, and the ability to not only ingest, but also then to take remediation actions on your estate. Lastly, you want to be able to report on everything that's happening, and we do that through our dashboards. Everything I've shown you today, you can represent within the dashboard. So we've got, a total number of systems that are non-compliant and don't have an EDR agent, broken down by server, desktop, other reports similar to what you may be able to report in a single EDR technology, but not multiple, like machines that haven't checked in over a period of time, those machines where there's a problem with the agent, those machines that have old virus definitions and other information about site breakdown and EDR coverage. So hopefully today in this video, I've shown you how we can build that union of data through ingesting siloed data sets. We can start querying that information, and remember, we're doing that at an abstracted macro level. We don't care about the underlying technology, but we're really looking for non-compliant systems, critical assets, and those toxic combinations. And then once we find those, we've got that visibility, we can return them to a desired state. Thanks for watching.